Hello, thanks for tuning in. Shout out to my Honda family and CRX family. Today we're gonna put together a set of Speed Factory rods and YCP Pistons. These are the no-notch rods. They were sold out for quite some time. I guess they got a stock back in now. These are YCP standard size pistons, Teflon skirt. First thing we want to do is get everything open. Save the plastic for it, unless you're going to go right into installing the rods on the motor or on the crankshaft. I'm not going to, so I'm saving the bags, and I'll show you how to wrap them back up. Get everything out. I like to spray everything down with brake clean, get it nice and dry and clean. So we'll do that and come back. Okay, we got everything cleaned off. The rod comes wrapped in a wax paper and then sealed in a plastic bag. Has some type of rust inhibitor on it. I believe it's Cosaline oil or Cosmoline. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. The YCP piston comes in a little plastic bag with a bread tie on it, and it comes with the wrist pin inside the bag. Each one of these wrist pins are machined for the piston it's with. Do not mix them up. They come inside with the bag, keep them together. Then you need two of the C-clip locks, snap ring locks. These pistons got an arrow on it. You have to pay attention to the orientation that you install them on the rod. Both have their own set of instructions from the manufacturer, and you have to combine the two instructions together to assemble this and get it into the engine block. So you want to wipe everything down, get everything clean. You got an arrow here, and these are standard size. So the arrow on the YCP piston has to go towards the flywheel of the engine. The Speed Factory rod, the tangs that are inside the bearing housing have to go towards the exhaust side. So tangs to the exhaust side, arrow to the flywheel. The reason being is the pistons have a larger relief for the intake valves than the exhaust valves, and if you have it flipped the other way, they could hit. You don't want that to happen. So arrow towards the flywheel, and on these rods you want the tangs, which is in the Speed Factory is stamped with, I guess, the serial number or the manufacturer number. That goes on the exhaust side, so facing you. So if you're looking at the engine, the arrow should be facing to the left towards the transmission, away from the timing belt, and the tangs with the serial numbers there will be facing the exhaust side towards you. So what you want to do is you want to get everything pre-lubed up inside of the bores here. A little bit of Lucas assembly lube. You don't need too much, just a little squirt in there because things get messy. So lubricate the wrist pin areas. And there are two types of pistons with the Honda motor. The OEM ones are press fit, which means you got to use heat and a press to get them out. These ones are full floating, so they just slide right in by hand. There should be no binding. You shouldn't have to force them in. They should drop right in. So you're just going to lubricate all the parts that are going to be in contact with the wrist pin, which will be the rod top here. You want to actually lubricate the wrist pin itself. Like I said, you don't need a whole bunch. Just lubricate every part. And then you want to take a C-clip and install it on one side of the piston. So we got snap ring pliers, and you'll see a little groove right there in the piston. That's so you can go ahead and get your snap ring pliers centered. Get everything set in. When it's set, I like to turn them down away from there so that you have a closed side on there. Look really closely and make sure that it's inside the channel there. Everything looks good. So remember, we want the arrow facing the flywheel. So if you're looking at the engine, the arrow will be facing left. Tangs to the front. So this is how we want it. And like I said, this should fall right in there. Should be no resistance. Move it around. Everything's nice and loose. We'll take the last C-clip here. These are a little slippery with this assembly lube. And again, we'll get the C-clip down there. Make sure it's in. Rotate it. Sometimes the second one likes to give a little trouble, so just take your snap ring pliers, push down on each leg, and it'll snap in. Sometimes they like to get stuck with the grease. There it is. Alright, you just check everything, make sure it's in, and it is. Everything's loose. The wrist pin slides. Again, these are floating, full floating. So, arrow towards the flywheel, tangs towards the exhaust, the front of the engine. And that's it. It's really simple to install a YCP piston on a Speed Factory rod, or any rod at that, for a Honda. Any aftermarket forged rod is going to be 99% full floating. OEM is press fit. They do not use these little retaining locks. Make sure you get them in the groove, because if you don't, and that thing comes loose while the motor's spinning, you'll destroy it. I like to keep the wax bag because I'm not going right into a block with it, and I'll take it and I'll rewrap the piston. And then you want to come right up underneath the piston skirt with it and tuck that wax bag in there to protect the wrist pin. And there we go. The rod is wrapped, and I take the old bag the rod came in, and I'll slit a line down it, and we'll install the piston up there so that protects it from the elements. And it's pollen season where I'm at, so pollen gets on everything, and Lord knows if you get pollen into an engine, it'll probably be devastating. Bag's a little tight. Hands are greasy. Okay, as you can see, I'm sliding the bag up on it, and it's creating nice compression. So, just want to slide the bag all the way up, letting some of that air out. Again, squeeze it, let the air out. Slide it all the way home. Okay, so we got all the rods and pistons together. They're all put back in the wax paper with the shipping oil and put back into the plastic bags. They fit very nice. It protects them. And you can go ahead and store them now until you're ready to put them in. And that's really how easy it is to put these pistons and rods together. Should take you no longer than 5 minutes a rod if you're going slow. So I hope this helps. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.